Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only PDawg Knight.
Hey y'all, sorry I am so late. That's why we didn't do a countdown. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as Dawg Knight on the internet. Welcome back to the Dawg Knight Channel, where I wasn't even first in my own chat today. Unbelievable. Anyway, it happens once in a while. A little rough morning night this morning, so let's just get into it and say hi to everybody and get going. Because in fact, I don't even have an agenda today because I got here too late. I didn't have time to look at anything. I saw a few things trending, and we'll talk about those, and then we'll just kind of wing it because it's Winging It Wednesday. What's in a name edition. But first, I do want to draw your attention. A friend of the show, tangentially, I mean, I interact with him a few times, but he's a good dude on the internet. Nate the lawyer is having a massive brain tumor removed this morning. He was posted that he was he's like, let's go see in 6 to 10 hours. He's got a big old tumor in his brain and they're removing today. And so if you're a praying type, please pray for Nate the lawyer. A good dude. And, you know, I don't categorize him politically much. He's just kind of a common sense, talk about things the way he sees them, and a good man. And we all wish him the best. I particularly wish him the best because, man, it's wild. He put a MRI picture up with the tumor. The tumor is massive, but apparently he's been functioning with it for a while. And so we just wish him the best in his surgery. So let me get that out of the way. Let's start with the chat today. First in the chat today is Kara Soldier crushing me. Who gets the bell? Got here before I did because, I don't know how you did that because there wasn't a big delay in my, my pop thing popping up. But anyway, also good morning, midnight, very close to first, but not quite. And also Avocados Diablo, who I almost gave a bell just out of habit, but lately you've been getting, they've been working you, man. They've been working you. Also, good morning, Miss Wild Wolf, Mike Savage, Blarg, JB's in the house. Good morning. Also, Unacceptable Views, my other favorite Canadian, Bookworm Addict. What's up? Also, let's see, who's down here? Who's that? Oh, that's you. Darren Root, what's up? Good morning. And Annalyn is here. And so far that's kind of it because, I started the show right after I set it up, but I have to, otherwise I wouldn't have time to talk about anything whatsoever. And also, you know what else I don't even have here? Let's just pull that up real quick. I don't even have the holiday calendar up. I don't even know what to celebrate today other than Hump Day. Cause Hump Day is every Wednesday, and I'm afraid because I haven't even looked at the old Hump Day. I haven't scrolled at all on the Hump Day, so we're gonna be playing with fire today on the old Hump Day scroll. But the holidays today is National Play Monopoly Day. Well, there's some Congress people who do that every day. Roll the dice and get ready to play. It's National Play Monopoly Day. Have a blast with family and friends while you build your empire. Not to be confused with the empire that Jussie Smollett was in. Anyway, I miss Jussie Smollett. Apparently, he's going to be on some reality show, by the way. I just saw a trailer for it. Some kind of reality show where he's going through like this, it might be something that had either SEAL training or Marine recon training or whatever. But whatever, they're out in the ruggedness, going through the motions that the most elite fighters go through. And hopefully nobody mugs him in the middle of the show and steals a Subway sandwich. Well, it's funny. They didn't steal a Subway sandwich, did they? Anyway, I hope that the show is not recorded in MAGA country. Let's just put it that way. Also, it's International Men's Day. Oh my gosh, we actually get a day. A day that nobody really cares about because, nobody cares about men. Also, oh, hello, Blue-Eyed Scream. What's up? I see you there. World Toilet Day. I bet they don't celebrate that in India. I didn't say that out loud. National Camp Day. Have a bad day? Make the most of have a bad day? Have a laugh, relax, treat yourself to something special. What does that mean? How do you have a bad day? Is that like get an old Michael Jackson album? 'Cause I'm bad, you know it, no, I'm bad, you know. Oh, I can't even scream that high. Good morning, TC, Moist Tree Rat, and Attack Alpaca. What's up? International Journalist Remembrance Day. Yeah, I guess. Women's Entrepreneurship Day. That's pretty good. National Carla Day if you're Carla. Congratulations, Carla. And National Alina Day. That's a name too. I don't know why everyone gets a name. I've never seen a National Marty Day. Damn it. And it's, you know what else pisses me off? All growing up, all while I was growing up, you know, my mom used to take us on road trip. We took a road trip from Omaha down to Texas, across to Arizona and California, and came back up through Las Vegas, Wyoming, or whatever. So because my parents were teachers, they could do that kind of shit. We could take a 3-week road trip. And you know when you go into like rest stops, truck stops, whatever, and they always have that rack of key rings or just something that has all the names on it, right? All those names on it. And there was never a Marty on there. And I'm like, Marty's not that uncommon a name, but there wasn't a Marty. There wasn't even a Martin on most of them. And Martin was, you know, one of the more common names when I was growing up. Well, I guess it wasn't. But you'd think that Marty would not be that unusual a name. But never. To this day, you'd never find Marty on one of those things. There's never going to be a Coca-Cola can with Marty on it. And even when, like, Back to the Future came out and Marty McFly, nobody had a Marty. And this still pisses me off. Yes, this gripe again. I talk about this all the time. I'm sorry. Do I talk about that too often? It pisses me off. Thank you, Special Can Acid. On my list of honorable mention favorite Canadians, and also Evan S. is in the house. So anyway, I should just get personalized license plate because of that. The Pope is here. Good morning, Pope Tyrannius III, the Blessed Lich, with today's message of hope, not from the Father, not from the Son, but from the Holy Ghost. Pope Tyre says, blessing of the merciful dead. Say it with me. A warm smile. A warm smile. A kind heart. A kind heart. A generous heart. A generous heart. And a receptive ear. A receptive ear. And the world instantly becomes a paradise. Well, you know, I like that message, even though I don't know if it become paradise, but it surely would make the world better if everyone had that generous spirit within them. So there you go. Thank you, Avocados Diablo, the first sponsor of the show today. You are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Dropping a small bullet, aka $2.23 in the tip jar. It says, just so you have been warned, slightly less sane me has had the reins of this pony the last few days, while slightly more sane me has been phoning it in. So Friday's Q&A is likely to get one of us a 72-hour hold. Also, Martina Day is 10/29, so go trans. Well, I'm not going trans, but I'm really concerned about this Friday's Q&A. We'll see which Avocados Diablo shows up. Thank you for sponsoring the show. You are a great American. All right. And then finally, National Integration Day. Let's come together and celebrate diversity and inclusivity, unity, and wait a minute. Okay, hold on. I'm fine. You know, celebrate that we're a diverse country. That's great. As long as don't try to force it on you. And unity is better, but inclusivity, to have to? Some people are shitty people, but it's okay. I'd be nice to everybody on National Integration Day. So there you go. There you go. Okay. That's the holidays. Now, what was I gonna? Oh, it's Hump Day. I haven't scrolled at all through the Hump Day, well, I didn't. Oh, Happy Hump too. I didn't do Happy Hump. Hang on a second. Let me see if Happy Hump was even trending this morning. No, that's not it. Let's go Explore tab. Let's see. I saw Hump Day, but I didn't see. Usually, Happy Hump and Hump Day are both trending. I'm not seeing it though. Happy Hump, Happy Hump. Oh, there it is. Okay, so we'll push that one. We'll do that one too. Now, it's always a crapshoot scrolling through Hump Day, and sometimes when you scroll through Hump Day, you just see me over and over because I put Hump Day every Wednesday in the feed. But anyway, here we go. I'm taking a chance. I'm going to start here at the top. Happy Hump Day. Someone says, good morning, happy Hump Day. POV, it's the year 2000 and German advertising agencies have zero chill. Oh my God, what? Wait a minute. Look at this ad. Wait a minute. I'm putting this full screen. You got to see this shit. German advertising agencies have zero chill. Let's see this.
Mann, ist der dick, Mann. Das ist super und frisch, holen wir sofort auf den Tisch. Super dick, Mann. Ja, ist der dick, Mann. Welcher Spaß ist so herrlich, welche Küsse so ehrlich. Super dick, Mann. Ist der dick, Mann.
Oh my God! Is that real? And her mouth full of cream. Holy shit. If you only hear this on your left ear, by the way, that's because it's only coming through one channel. Okay, stop with the dick man. All right, I gotta take this off the screen. I don't know what this is I'm scrolling to. Oh, that's just camels. Okay, I was like, it looked really strange when I saw this as I'm scrolling, but it's just two camels drinking water. Interesting fact of the day, camels can drink 200 liters of water in just 3 minutes. Happy Hump Day. There you go. Let me scroll slowly. Okay. This is Buffalo. So no naked people yet. Good morning. Extroverse. Well, they spelled extroverse. Friends, is that like shitter? Because like, you know how she is XI. Happy Hump Day, shitterverse friends. Hope you hump something one good day today. Me, I'm going out to dye kettles now. Have a great one. The missus is heading out to CrossFit so I can get some quiet time. This is someone named Buffalo Ron. I have no idea what that means. Hello, Lord Stanhope. Good morning. How are you? And then as I scroll, what? Oh, good Lord. All right, I'm going to stop scrolling because I'm afraid. I'm afraid it's the hump. Oh, that's Happy Hump. What's on Hump Day? Oh, here, one safe one for Avocado Diablo. All right, here you go. There's your eye candy for the day on Happy Hump Day. She says, I know I can be a bit cheeky. Oh, good for you, honey. Oh, God, she looks like she's 13. Get that off my screen. She looks too young. As I'm scrolling down. Yeah, the Hump Day one is a little more like no nudity yet. I'm scrolling. There it is. Oh my God. Holy shit. I didn't need to see that shit. All right, let's move on. The only things that I really wanted to pop up here on X today, because I only had a few minutes to look up stuff. One was on Nate. Now, I told you about Nate, the lawyer. Oh, wait. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I also forgot to do the thank yous for the people who share the show. Let's do that real quick, because I would be amiss if I did not do it. Would that make me a Martina? Okay. Here it is. Ms. Wildwolf, thank you for sharing the show on your own and also reposting mine and doing all that stuff. And they even gave us a little kids on go-karts yelling, let's go. And you know, that's some 70s. Like, that's still that little 70s thing. That's something you would do in the 70s, except the go-kart wouldn't be so cool. And we would call a go-kart anything that you built that had wheels that would roll down a hill. So even though that's plastic and doesn't have an engine, it is a go-kart. Also, TC, thank you very much. Posting the show on your X account. Tyler Alexander retweeting the stream. Also with the daily woo from Ric Flair. So thanks everybody doing that. And if you still can, I'm going to take it down from the top of the the pinned comment up here though pretty soon. So if you still want to do that, get on it. Okay, back to Nate the lawyer. Now, I mentioned he was going into surgery, and apparently there was someone on X because so yesterday Nate posted the picture of the MRI of this giant tumor, and I'll see that in a second. But apparently some dickhead on X stole the scan amid brain tumor surgery. Nate the lawyer, a prominent ex-legal commentator. I'm floundering here, so I'm just gonna read it. With 99,000 followers, posted his MRI scan on November 17th, revealing a massive brain tumor that postponed his surgery to Wednesday. Hours later, some dickhead named Richard Usoman something, that username, shared the identical image, claiming it as his own, leading to accusations of fraud and the post-deletion. Nate warned followers against donating to the account, while the ex-community offered prayers and support for his procedure. So Nate this morning, 2 hours ago, said, see you guys in 6 to 10 hours. And here he says, here we go. Last picture before they cut my hair off. I'm scared, but we get to test if prayer works. I bet it does. There are no atheists in foxholes. This is one hell of a foxhole. Man, pray for Nate. I'm saying, I don't care if you pray or not. Pray anyway. Also, scam warning. He posted this. This guy stole my MRI pictures and claims it is his own. Please do not give any money to this fraud. I do not want to out my personal information, but I can provide the original if there's any doubt. Also, he uploaded his hours after I uploaded the original. So this dickhead right here, Dr. Eartho. Here's my brain tumor. Anonymous blah, 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 found in 100% of the COVID-19 vaccines. He lied. He's full of shit. And so people are calling him out. Fuck that guy. What's today? Wednesday? I don't care. Fuck that guy anyway. Oh, good Lord. Whatever that is. So anyway, yeah. I can't believe that shit. People doing that. But lots of people sending out messages to Nate. Legal Mindset. I can't remember his first name. But anyway, praying for my man Nate the lawyer before he goes under the knife. Nate is a great legal content creator and deserves a follow if you can. Let's go get him to 1 million subs. Absolutely. Viva Fry. Today is the day Nate goes under the knife to remove his tumor. No atheists in foxholes. We are all praying and looking forward to one hell of a post-surgery celebration. Godspeed. And God bless Nate. Plenty of people. Eric Hunley is also a lawyer. Lots of the umbrella guy. Warning about the dickhead who would make the fake post about that. So anyway, if you're not following Nate the lawyer, go check out some of his stuff. It's really good. And it's very, very mostly politically neutral legal content, even on political issues. So I think that's really, really great that a lot of people are supporting Nate. Other news, the Department of Indoctrination is in the news. Department of Education, apparently Trump has announced that they are, in fact, going to shutter the U.S. Department of Education. Trump administration announced dismantling of U.S. Department of Education and plans to transfer key functions, including civil rights enforcement, special education, and K-12 grants from the U.S. Department of Education to other federal agencies via interagency agreements, reducing it to a minimal operation. Education Secretary Linda McMahon presented the initiative during an all-staff meeting following a March executive order through full implementation, though full implementation requires congressional approval. Critics from Democratic lawmakers to advocacy groups argued the move circumvents Congress and could disrupt services for vulnerable students, while supporters view it as advancing local control and cutting bureaucracy. I am all for this. Like you said, the functions that are really important in the Department of Education can be done by other departments. The Department of Education has done nothing for education in this country whatsoever. And it's interesting because, now granted, this was, the Department of Education came into being in 1979 when we were still number one in education in the world. And even deep into the 80s, we were number one in education in the world. And then all of a sudden, around 1990-ish, there have been kind of all these new things that came in. They stopped teaching phonics, and I think that was kind of had something to do with the Department of Education. They got into this new math stuff where people can no longer, like kids, a lot of kids today can't do times tables. Simple things like knowing, being able to do math in your head is impossible. And look, I know the need for a lot of the stuff that kids learn as far as math or whatever can be done by something that holds a battery, right? And I don't mean mama's toys in the closet. But you still need to be able to do simple math in your head. And there's so many people I go out in the real world that cannot do simple math. And I'm like, my God, it's like 47 plus 13. That's not that hard. Figure it out. So anyway, but yeah, since the Department of Education, we went from number 1 in the world in education down to number 38. Now, that doesn't seem bad, except that's not good. we should still be number 1. Hello, Midnight in Exile. How you doing? What? 23? No, it's 60. 47 and 13. 60. Easy. In your head. Boom. Psh. 42, the answer is always 42. Unless it's 6, 7, and then a bunch of kids will start screaming and doing that shit, because I don't even understand that crap. Anyway, there is both joy and consternation regarding this topic. The White House right here, the time has come to dismantle the Department of Education. Okay, interesting. Rapid response. The announcement really follows the plan that POTUS has had since day one, and that is returning education to the states. He fully believes, as I do, that is the best education that's closest to the child and not run from bureaucracy in Washington, D.C. It doesn't do anything. You know what I mean? What do? They hand out money and they cater to unions. It's basically all the Department of Education does. Now, this person says, why would a president want to dismantle, of all things, the Department of Education? Because it sucks, and we were better off if we didn't have one. That's why. That's why. If let the states do what they do. Caroline Levitt, power stripped from Education Department in latest Trump administration move to dismantle it. Tim Walz, the American dream starts in the classroom. Gutting the Department of Education and defunding our public schools threatens to promise for every child in the nation. Whoa, hold up, Tim. Look here. I hate calling him Tampon Tim, but you know, he's my governor. I can call him whatever the fuck I want. That's a weird statement because the Department of Education doesn't fund our public schools. This, except for special services. Good morning, Selected Boy.
Yeah, boy.
Except for special services, which they're just moving to various departments. Like the school lunch program. That's not run through the Department of Education. That's run through the Department of Agriculture. And why, I'm not even sure why I have a school lunch program, but I understand. I don't mind helping the needy. That's a whole nother subject. I'm getting into it. Anyway, they don't do anything. And you're not defunding public schools by getting rid of the Department of Education. Schools are funded locally by the states. And any grants the Department of Education gives to school districts can be done by anybody else. You know what I mean? It's just dumb. So he's pissed off, claiming that defunding our public schools threatens that promise for every child in the nation. We're not defunding the public schools. That's your job, Governor Tim. Of course, you're so busy with all the fraudsters giving everybody else money that it takes away from the state budget. And you're the dumbass who had what do you have? We had a $9 billion surplus in Minnesota when Tim Walz came to office. And now we're at like a $6 billion deficit. What the fuck? Come on, Walz. Senator Mike Lee, Trump's taking down the U.S. Department of Education. I applaud this move. Secretary of Labor Linda McMahon's chiming in. Hi, hit like if you think Hochul is one of the worst governors in the U.S. I don't know what that has to do with it. But anyway, breaking, the Trump administration says it is moving forward with plans to dismantle the Department of Education. Oh, here's... Now, here is Governor Walz also yesterday said nearly 1 million K-12 students in Minnesota rely on funding from the Department of Education. How so, Tim? Based on what? Trump's billionaire-led administration is slashing resources for students at rural communities, low-income families, and those who need special needs in education. Minnesota will fight back. Well, no, he's not. He's just moving those to, like, continuing in the Department of Agriculture, sending some to the Department of Health and Human Services. He's moving those functions into departments that specialize in those functions. So, holy shit. To which Linda McMahon says, this is good news for your governor. It's that federal funding for education continues to flow. Without the Federal Department of Education, local districts will receive more dollars for learning and student support. Why? Because you don't have a giant bureaucracy called the Department of Education that you're paying all those freaking salaries that could be going somewhere else. Interesting. Student debtors, pay attention. If some illegalities end up happening, it could render our student loans illegitimate and therefore uncollectible. Really? I'm sure those banks that are holding the notes will find a way to collect on the student loans, because I don't think you pay them directly to the government. You pay them to the bank that the government worked you through. So your little student loans still gonna have to get paid, honey. Anyway, so there you go. That's in the news. Also in the news, Dearborn, Michigan. Okay, Dearborn, Michigan, like Minneapolis, apparently has an ordinance now that they can have a call to prayer, because the city's run by almost 100% Muslim city council and mayor. Hello, by the way. Oh, there is, wait. That's shrapnel, but it says straight Sith male. Oh, straight Sith male, like Sith, like the Return of the Sith. Hello, Shrapnel. Nice to see you. I can only see @names. I can't see names that you put as your name. Anyway, Dearborn residents challenged mosque call to prayer over noise ordinance. In Dearborn, Michigan, residents have raised complaints about the volume and early morning timing of the Islamic call to prayer broadcast from local mosques, alleging violations of the city's noise ordinance, limiting decibels to 60 daytime and 55 nighttime. Mayor Abdullah Hammond defended the practice at a recent city council meeting, citing decibel tests confirming compliance with legal limits and noting its presence in the 1970s as a protected religious expression akin to church bells. Local dispute is amplified online, with viral posts portraying the city as culturally foreign, met by defenses emphasizing Dearborn's longstanding Arab American community and suburban character. Now, I don't know what time they do these calls to prayer in Dearborn, but the way that Minneapolis did it is they said that they could go, I mean, realistically, apparently it could be as early as 4 a.m. that they're sounding these calls to prayers. And I don't recall ever hearing church bells before 10 a.m. anywhere I've lived in my life. You know, the only thing I've ever heard was maybe, you know, like one of those giant clocks, you know, that have bells in them and shit. But let's see. So Cam Higley, apparently, a lot of people replying to him, he said, I can confirm that Dearborn feels like a foreign country. It's unsettling, and there's nothing welcoming about it. And here's a 50-minute video of him being chased by drones, vehicles, and tailed by individuals on foot, and confronted at Dearborn. Quite a welcome party for the safest place ever. I'm going to put a link to his video here in the right next to this as you go in links today, because I want to watch that myself. Whoops, what am I doing? There we go. Did I do that right? No, I did not. Let's do this. There we go. And we'll see that he's one of these guys who go out and ask people man on the street questions. And so someone says, why don't you take the initiative and reach out to the people making you feel unsettled? He says, I did last night. I was told I wasn't welcome, followed by a drone, followed by multiple cars and multiple Muslims on foot trying to intimidate me after trying to visit a mosque and have a conversation. So anyway, people replying to him, let's start with this guy. Most of you don't even know where Dearborn is, never met anyone from Dearborn, and probably don't know a single Muslim person, so you're just out here being led by what someone said. That's weakness. Now, I know exactly where Dearborn, Michigan is, and I know many Muslim people. In fact, some of the Somalians that work with me at UPS are Muslim. Okay, so now, but I'm not most of you, I guess. Anyway, what American disgrace, sit back and let foreigners erase our American culture. They need to go. So anyway, Dearborn's very highly Muslim. Here's Mayor from Fox News. Mayor of Dearborn weighs in on residents' complaint about mosques' call to prayer. Dearborn, Michigan, Mayor Abdullah Hammond. Now, by the way, Mayor Abdullah Hammond is not a bad guy. I'm just saying. And in fact, in Dearborn, they were, these are the same Muslims who were very opposed to the trans ideology being taught in schools. Same mayor. In fact, that's one of the reasons how this mayor got elected. So there's a trade-off, and I always laugh when liberals tie their wagons to Muslims and try to talk about Islamophobia, while at the same time saying that, they're supporting Hamas, who would throw you off a building if you were anywhere outside the normal colors of the rainbow. Let's put it that way. Anyway, so Mayor Hammond discussed his concern on the November 30th episode of Not From Here podcast. Local Dearborn citizens have complained in recent months that a nearby mosque has been broadcasting the call to prayer on loudspeakers multiple times a day, beginning as early as 5:30 a.m. And it's like, come on, why 5:30 a.m.? Anyway, though residents raised concern during a September City Council meeting, Hammond insisted that the call to prayer under a certain decibel level is allowed under city ordinances and has been part of Dearborn life for decades. Well, no, it hasn't. Not at 5:30 in the morning. Quote, I will tell you, those complaining about the call to prayer, I mean, it's very, very few. You still want to respect the wishes, and if you have a serious concern, I have to uphold the law across all boards, Hammond said. But we've done decibel readings at these mosques, all within the threshold, all within legal limits, and so for me, it's not an issue. It's because you're Muslim, and maybe you want to do your 5:30 a.m. prayer, but most people don't get up till at least after 6:30. He continued, we also have to uphold our constitutional rights to freedom of religion. And I would say this, that's the thing. I say this as a Muslim. People, of course, are going to say this is a call to prayer, but why are these complaints just coming forward now? Because they probably just started. They get tired of being woken up at 5:30 in the morning. Yeah, elections coming up. Host Jafar Issa remarked. Well, yeah, elections are coming up, and we don't want them damn, blasting the call to prayer at 5:30 in the morning. Waking my ass up. If I don't have to be up till 8, I don't want to hear a 5:30 a.m. call to prayer. Hammond didn't directly respond to that comment, but shrugged and repeated, call to prayer has been happening since the 1970s in Dearborn. At 5 in the morning? The city ordinance states that noise in residential areas cannot exceed 55 decibels at night after 10 p.m. or 60 decibels during the day, 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. Loudspeakers are prohibited between 10 p.m. and 7 a.m. Well, now that's interesting because the call to prayer comes over a loudspeaker. What? What? So 7 a.m. is 5:30 a.m. is before 7 a.m. Hammond also said that the mosques in the city do not make a call to prayer at Fajr or dawn and compared the sound to church bells. But no one's ringing church bells at 5:30 a.m. Dearborn resident Andrea Unger has lived in the city for 40 years, told Fox News Digital last month that she had recorded the call to prayer for 30 consecutive days and found it consistently exceeded 70 decibels. She said she raised concerns with the police department and the city council for the past 2 years, but the problem continued. She added that some of her neighbors were hesitant to speak out because the mayor will tell you you're not welcome here anymore. That's why there's that mayor, remember? Fearing they would be labeled anti-Muslim. No, I'm just pro-sleeping in past 5:30 in the morning. I've heard a lot of people say, I'm glad you said something because people are afraid they'll get their get called names like Islamophobic, like our Mayor Abdullah called Dearborn resident and Christian minister Ted Barham, because you disagree, she said. We're not Islamophobic. We're not anti-Muslim. We're not anti-Jewish. We just want to live in a community that's always been before something changed 2 years ago to allow this. Again, the noise ordinance says no loudspeakers between 10 p.m. and 7 a.m. The call to prayer goes out over a loudspeaker. Unless it's a soft speaker, I don't know. No church bells could not go as long as their call to prayer does. No, that's true, but that's not even the problem. The problem is that it's they're violating the noise ordinance. Period. Whether it's 55 decibels or not, decibels or not, 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. No loudspeakers. They put the call to prayer on a loudspeaker. It's not church bells. There's no church bells at 5:30 a.m. It is different. It's not the same. Anyway, I'll watch Cam's. I think I've seen short clips of Cam Higby's ordeal in Dearborn. But here's 50 minutes of me being chased by drones, vehicles tailed by individuals on foot, and confronted in Dearborn. Quite the welcome party for the safest place ever. All right, let's move on. By the way, remember we were talking, was it yesterday or the day before? My thumbnail today, if you haven't noticed, as I put back up here, my thumbnail here, where this is President Trump. Recognize him? That's the guy with the funny hair, right? And we had a video where some reporters were flipping, yelling questions at him. I think it was on Air Force One. And the headline, or the big thing that was trending yesterday, was Piggy. Thus my Miss Piggy gift this morning. Piggy, when he said, "Quiet Piggy." Well, in the immortal words of Mr. Paul Harvey, if you know who that is, now let's hear the rest of the story. Apparently, the woman he called Piggy, her name is Peggy. Her name is Peggy. Peggy Collins, a Bloomberg News reporter, during a press gaggle on Air Force One when she interrupted about the Epstein files, Trump said, "Quiet, Peggy," misheard by some as "Quiet Piggy." Now, Piggy, like this one says, is a hell of a lot funnier. But even Grok, did Trump call a reporter Piggy or Peggy? Grok says it was Peggy, referring to Bloomberg reporter Peggy Collins by name. Audio from the exchange clearly supports this over the distorted Piggy spin pushed by outlets eager to paint Trump as crude. Media bias often amplifies ambiguities to smear. Listen closely yourself. Yeah, so thank you for the pig noses, Lauren Stanhope, and good morning, by the way. Apparently her name is Peggy, and here's the clip again. Look. If someone tells you he's saying Piggy, that's what you're gonna hear. If someone tells you he's saying Peggy, that's what you're gonna hear. But listen, because here's something that may support this as you watch this clip. Notice that he's referring to the reporters by their names. So first he says something about question Jennifer, and then he looks over at Peggy, and says, "Quiet Peggy." Listen to it as Peggy first, and then we'll play it again, and I'll say, listen to it as Piggy, and see what you get.
Sir, is there something incriminating in the file, sir? Why are you acting as if...
So let Jennifer go ahead. Quiet, Peggy. I mean, it sounds like Piggy to me too, but her name's Peggy. So that's just the internet doing he made fun of a disabled person, when he does that thing all the time about himself, even when he can't remember what he's talking about. So this is just one of those things. And so the internet is all abuzz over the word Peggy. Trump first says, yeah, go ahead, Jennifer. Then another woman's name, Peggy, starts talks over Jennifer, and Trump says, quiet Peggy. That's what I hear. Somebody here, oh no, Trump maybe called someone Piggy or Peggy. Spare me your virtue signaling when all your side does is call him Hitler. If that offends you, take your tampon out and grow up. Oh my God. That's holy shitty, man. Biggity. Maggie, he said Peggy, not Piggy. He was talking about Peggy Noonan. No, it wasn't Peggy Noonan. Us. She's not a reporter and wasn't there. We met Peggy Collins. What's her name again? Peggy Collins, a Bloomberg News reporter. Also not there. He was talking to Catherine Lucy. Okay, he said Piggy, funniest president ever. We're so back. Is that true? The reporter's name is Catherine Lacey, which is nowhere close to Peggy. So now they're saying it's not Peggy either. Okay, maybe he thought it was Peggy. He was trying to listen to Jennifer's question, but Peggy Collins at Bloomberg kept yelling over her and said, quiet Peggy. That's which the Lincoln Project says, Trump, a literal pig, at a reporter at an Air Force One, quiet Peggy. So I'm curious, was Peggy Collins on the plane or not? I wonder if she's on here to clear it up. Who knows? And you know what? Don't know if I give a shit. By the way, Nicki Minaj was at the White House thanking Trump publicly for for saying something about the Christian persecution in Nigeria. I'm like, wait, is Nicki Minaj a Trump supporter? I'm tripping. Am I tripping? Anyway, well, Gunfox, thank you. You were saving the show, by the way. And so that's all I had. So thank God Gunfox is here to throw up an article or two. Thank you, Gunfox, dropping a Hamilton in the tip jar, which makes you Buttonworth, the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. With a China is asshole update.
China is asshole.
Thank you. It says China is asshole and space agrees. Let's see what this article is about. I'm a little nervous here. Let's see. Oh, wait, hang on a second here. Let's fix this because I got to have the full aggregator out ready for you. All right, Gunfox drops this article hijacking the show successfully and showing mercy on the host. Chinese astronauts are stranded in space. Oh, good God. Oh, no. Your life makes me sad. 3 Chinese astronauts are currently stranded in space after their spacecraft was used to return another group to Earth. China said, fuck them astronauts. 3 astronauts are currently taking part in a 6-month mission called Shenzhou 21 on board China's Tianzhong space station, but their spacecraft was used on Friday to return the previous crew taking part in the Shenzhou 20 mission after their own capsule was damaged by suspected space debris, delaying their return by more than a week. China's manned space agency, the CMSA, said that the Shenzhou spacecraft 22, the crew expected that the Shenzhou 22 spacecraft, the crew expects to return option will be launched at an appropriate time in the future without specifying the exact date, according to the Xinhua news agency. Newsweek contacted the CMSA for comment by email. Why it matters? Well, the 3 astronauts are currently on board the Chinese space station without a spacecraft in case of an emergency. Like if shit goes bad, they did. The damage to the Shenzhou 20 spacecraft raises concerns regarding the safety of crew members and vulnerability of spacecraft to space debris. In 2021, NASA astronauts were forced to delay a spacewalk due to a space debris alert for increased risk following a Russian anti-satellite test. Members of the Shenzhou 20 crew were scheduled to return to Earth on November 5th after a 6-month rotation, 4 days after a new crew arrived at the Tianzhong space station, according to the Associated Press. However, their return was delayed by 9 days after a window in the Shenzhou capsule suffered tiny cracks, likely from space debris. Space debris. Remember we talked about the Space Ghost yesterday? Anyway, rather than using the damaged Shenzhou 20 spacecraft, the astronauts returned on board the Shenzhou 21 capsule, which had just brought their replacement crew to the station. The change left the Tianzhong's new crew without a dedicated return vehicle. So there, if something happens, while they're in space. Ain't gonna be pretty. Ain't gonna be pretty. Okay.
China is asshole.
So there you go. That's the China's asshole update. Gunfox dropping Hamilton's left and right now because it's just saving my butt. The next Hamilton says south of the border chaos. Oh, well, let's see what this is about. Article from CBS News. Warning signs appear on Mexican beach declaring area restricted by U.S. as Mexico rejects Trump's offer to strike cartels. Ew, what? Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum on Tuesday ruled out allowing U.S. strikes against cartels on Mexican soil, a day after President Trump said he was willing to do whatever it takes to stop drugs from entering the U.S. Meanwhile, the Mexican and American diplomats were trying to sort out what may have been an actual U.S. incursion. On Monday, men arrived in a boat at a beach in northeast Mexico and installed some signs signaling land that the U.S. Department of Defense considered restricted. Mexico's Foreign Affairs Ministry said late Monday that the country's Navy had removed the signs, which appeared to be on Mexican territory. The origins of the signs and their placement on national territory were unclear, the ministry said in a statement. On Tuesday, Sheinbaum said that the International Boundary and Water Commission, a binational agency that determines the border between the two countries, was getting involved. The signs driven into the sand where the Rio Grande empties into the Gulf of Mexico caused a stir when witnesses said the men in a boat arrived at a local beach known as Playa Baghdad and erected them. The signs read in English and Spanish, warning restricted area, and went on to explain that it was a Department of Defense property and had been declared restricted by, quote, the commander, end quote. It said there could be no unauthorized access, photography, or drawings of the area. CB4 News Rio Grande Valley posted an image of one of the signs on social media. The U.S. Embassy in Mexico shared a comment from the Pentagon Tuesday about the incident, confirming that contractors putting up signs to mark the National Defense Area 3 had placed signs at the mouth of the Rio Grande. Changes in water depth and topography altered the perception of the international boundary's location, the statement said. Government of Mexico personnel removed 6 signs based on their perception of the international boundary location. Are we going to go to war with Mexico? I know, we don't need to do that. I wouldn't care if Sheinbaum would okay the attacking of the cartels, though. Anyway, the Pentagon said the contractors would coordinate with appropriate agencies to avoid confusion in the future. Okay, who thinks that there was confusion, or was this a provocation? Okay, here, I'm just quick. I'll do a poll this time, not a Q&A. What was it? Provocation or confusion? There you go. What was it? Was it provocation or was it confusion? I'm curious. Neither would surprise me, but anyway. Mexico has contacted its consulate in Brownsville, Texas, and then the U.S. Embassy in Mexico City. Eventually, it was determined that contractors working for some U.S. government entity had placed the signs. Quote, but the river changes its course, it breaks loose, and according to the treaty, you have to clearly demarcate the national border, Sheinbaum said during her daily press briefing. The area is close to the SpaceX Starbase, which sits adjacent to Boca Chica Beach on the Texas side of the Rio Grande. The facility and launch site for the SpaceX rocket program is under contract with the Department of Defense and NASA, which hopes to send astronauts back to the moon and someday to Mars. In June, Sheinbaum said the government was looking into contamination from the SpaceX facility after pieces of metal, plastic, and rocket pieces were reportedly found on the Mexican side of the border following the explosion of a rocket during a test. Now, I'm just curious, does anyone live on the Mexican side of that border, like right there? I mean, I would think not if there's a big old, launch pad on the other side of the river. I don't know. The area carries the added sensitivity of Mr. Trump's order to rename the Gulf of Mexico as the Gulf of America, which Mexico has also rejected. So anyway, so there you go. We might be going to war with Mexico. Wait, show it. You are not as bad as I am. Wait a minute. Lord, stand up. I'd say it was either confused provocation or provoked confusion. Okay, the latter I think was more likely because it's provoking confusion. So anyway, LOL short. What am I? Okay, wait a minute. Let me see what I'm supposed to be showing here. The signs. Okay, Rio Grande. Oh, posted an image. Is this the image? Oh yeah, there's the sign if you want to see it. It just says it both English and Spanish on Facebook. Yeah, I don't care about that shit. Okay. So that's interesting. We'll see what happens. We're not going to war with Mexico. All right. And finally, Gunfox, one more Hamilton in the tip jar saying the Fed plans. The Fed plans. What could this be? Oh, this is from Fortune magazine. America's path out of $38 trillion national debt crisis likely involves pushing up inflation and eroding Fed independence, says JP Morgan Private Bank. That's not a good thing. Oh, it's okay. So one of these, the way they do their articles on Fortune are a pain in the ass, but here we go. Let's see what this says. Business leaders, policymakers, and investors are growing increasingly concerned by the United States borrowing burden, currently sitting at $38.15 trillion with a T dollars. Oh, you were talking at midnight. Okay. The worry isn't necessarily the size of this debt. Really? It's not. The worry's not the size of the debt? No. Okay, how about it's the size of the debt and the fact that it continues growing at a ridiculous pace? Is that a concern? God, what do you mean? It's not the size of the debt. Fuckers. But rather, America's debt to GDP ratio. And, well, that's because of the size of the debt, you assholes. Holy shit. Oh, God. Gunfox, you got me. You got me. Hence, its ability to convince investors that it can reliably pay back that debt, it currently stands at about 120%. I don't think we have a plan to pay it back that doesn't involve lots of pain. To reduce that ratio requires either GDP to increase or scaling down the debt. On the latter end, this could include cutting public spending. Please, please, please! This is already tried by the Trump administration with the Department of Government Efficiency under Elon Musk claiming to have saved $214 billion, which didn't really turn out to be that much. Now, while those savings were drastically lower than promises made by the Tesla CEO when Doge was first formed, they're a drop in the ocean of the bigger U.S. deficit picture. It does reveal the renewed focus Washington is giving to debt. This will be a prevailing theme for investors as well, according to JP Morgan's Private Bank outlook for 2026. The ban serves high net worth individuals. What ban? What? Did they make a typo there? Anyway, the report released today says there are 3 issues investors need to bear in mind. Position for the AI revolution, get comfortable with fragmentation of globalization, and prepare for a structural shift in inflation. That's the one that should be scaring us the most. In this final part, the shift in inflation, which is where the debt question comes in. JP Morgan writes, some market participants warn of a coming debt crisis, and in the most extreme scenario, the Treasury holds an auction and buyers are nowhere to be found. We see a more subtle risk in this scenario. Instead of a sudden spike in yields, policymakers make a deliberate shift. They tolerate stronger growth and higher inflation, allowing real interest rates to fall and the debt burden to shrink over time. A key snag in the plan is the toleration of higher inflation. After all, this is the remit of the Federal Reserve Open Market Committee, which is tasked with keeping inflation as close to 2% as possible. While the FOMC could be swayed to take a broader view than its dual mandate of stable prices and maximum employment, if a national debt crisis impacted these factors, it may need more than arguments from politicians. How about if we stop spending so much money, assholes? I said that out loud, didn't I? Sorry, I digress. The method of allowing the debt burden to shrink thanks to lower rates is called financial repression and could have knock-on effects on other parts of the economy over time. For example, Fortune reported over the weekend that the American housing crisis happened in part due to a period of sustained low rates after the financial crisis because it did. Oh, man. People are going to be taking more money out of their house if that happens. That's not good either. To orchestrate this repression could take some maneuvering. JP Morgan says we could see a less straightforward path to reduce the U.S. government's debt load. Policymakers could erode the Fed independence and effectively inflate the debt away by driving a stronger nominal growth environment characterized by high inflation and, over the near term, at least lower real interest rates. So we could go back to the 70s. Is that what you're trying to say? Even for me, I know exactly what they're talking about, I bet this is really boring for the rest of you. But fuck, I don't like what they're saying here. Holy shit. Here's the less popular route, though. Economists have previously described the looming debt crisis as a game of chicken to fortune as one administration passes the issue on to the next without plucking up the courage to address fundamental spending or revenue-raising changes, which we need. We do need. Look, it's funny because let's tax the billionaire. Everything that they propose or whatever on the left is like, tax the billionaires more. Well, you could tax the billionaires more, but that's not going to fix it because there are not enough billionaires. You end up having to tax the lower end more, which fucks all of us. But because half the people in this country don't pay income tax. They paid, some of them pay Social Security tax and whatnot, but so does the companies that they work for. They pay half of that, but half the people don't pay income tax. So the whole thing, the rich aren't paying their fair share. Well, they're paying a vast majority of all the taxes. The only way. Now again, and you can tax the rich more. Sure, great, but it's not going to be enough. You're going to have to tax the numbers of people more. Not just the few. You're going to have to tax the massives more. So anyway, what they say, so to have the courage to address fundamental spending or revenue-raising changes. How about spending changes? Spending changes is king. Let's do that. Let the people deal with things in their local ways and have the federal government stop spending so much fucking money. How about that? Catch me outside? How about that? With an aging American population, any government move to scale back social and healthcare spending would likely be unpopular enough to prevent it from coming to fruition, the bank says. Likewise, increasing taxes are a surefire way to turn off voters. So there's there between a Rock of Gibraltar and Mount Everest, basically. Two giant rocks. The report adds U.S. tax collections as a share of GDP are near the low end among OECD nations, suggesting ample capacity, if not the political will to raise tax revenue to reduce debt. Similarly, mandatory spending on entitlement programs such as Social Security and Medicare could be curtailed to bend the curve, as economists refer to efforts to slow the pace of future spending growth. But those options may prove politically unpalatable. They will, because right now, a lot of people in this country have figured out that who they vote for is the person who's going to give them the most money of other people's money, and that's what they're relying on. That's why you have Mamdani being elected in New York, because he promised to give the most of other people's money to basic New Yorkers, and that's usually the downfall of every great empire, is when the people figure out that they can vote themselves other people's money. And that's where we're at. So if you want to read the rest of the article, there's only a couple more paragraphs, but you get the point. Thank you, Gunfox, so much for saving my ass, because I don't have much in the article bin here, but I do have the aggregator open. There's a lot of good stuff in the Ace of Spades blog aggregator here. Ace of Spades blogs morning report, JJ Sefton, where I get a lot of my articles from when I'm not getting them from X or whatever, or Gunfox. So, for example, nobody expects the auto pen or something. But there are a lot of stuff here that's broken down into different categories. So, for example, Democrat leftist border, bloodbath, amnesty, immigration, border security, some Democrat violent insurrectionist riots. That's all one section with a few articles there talking about some ICE arrests and how Texas socialists rage against FBI raid on Trinidad nightclub, which is an article in Breitbart. Also, domestic affairs, courts, waste and fraud, the economy, crime and punishment. Islam. There's a whole section on Islam this week. First Amendment issues, censorship, red, green, climate change section, education section, with that Trump administration downsizing the education department from legal insurrections. Good article there. Abortion is a section. Epstein affairs is a section. So basically, there's a section, and there's a section on politics, foreign affairs, whole thing. So it's broken down into various subject matter, and usually articles, mostly right-wing sources, some mainstream sources. It's all kind of a mishmash, and a lot of opinion sources. So I highly recommend it. And there you go. Oh my goodness! Alan! Which Alan is that though? Just Alan. Which Alan? I'm not sure, but thank you. I don't know. Wait, who's Alan? Alan with the big $17, and you are now the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. I get mixed up when it's at names on one side and names on the other side, but thank you so much. Oh, Alan Thieler, there you are. Welcome. I didn't know you were here. So thank you. Dropping the $17 in the tip jar. Oh no, Gunfox still the Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. He's got 30 up there, but that 17 helps greatly. It is the one that cannot spell his own name. Oh, Alan Thieler. Okay, well, thank you very much. I greatly appreciate that. That's every dollar helps, and that's awesome. Yeah, Gunfox is still at 30. I know. It was the biggest donation of the day, but it's not the Gunfox Superstar or I'm just calling it the Gunfox Superstar sponsor of the day because he often is. Anyway, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Just says the message just says morning dog, morning to you. Greatly appreciate it. And on that note, I gotta go. Thank you everybody for joining me today on the Morning Night Live. Let me do this whole what do I do every day? I put the links, the notifications, whatever in there, and the holidays. You get the holidays every day. And that's it. So here we go. Let me click the couple things and get that in there, and I gotta go. So let's see, there's that. Share the page. It clicks and goes like that, and then I can copy and I can paste. Here's the links. That's it. Gotta go. See you tomorrow. My name's PDawgKnight, and I am out of here. Bye-bye. Get funky now.
Hey, this is PDawgKnight, and thank you for watching today on the PDawgKnight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterward so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through the Streamlabs link, which is also in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here.